Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and I'm joined with Mark. We are the Price Variants, and we're going to talk about the hottest Silver Age comics of the week. And I tried to pick a bit of an eclectic list this week. It's just some. It's not the ones, the not the usual suspects that we usually do. I every so often I like to do like the biggest books in the week, like I did last week, where I just looked at the biggest sales purely by dollar amounts. Well, these ones are sort of the next tier, the different, like a little bit different, a little bit, obscure stuff. I like to see that as a way of testing the market. So that's what this is all about. So we're going to see some pretty cool things. Hopefully, you like the list and it'll be fun. So
Yeah,
let's get into it.
like these slightly odder ones because I see comics I've never seen before. Right,
Mhm.
here we go. Let's click on that. And indeed, this is a comic I haven't seen before.
Yeah, so it's a really cool one. One of the things that's interesting is when and this is something that really came out of the code. Was that they didn't like horror or scary things or Halloween even. Halloween was like one of those things that was kind of removed from from comics in a way. And this is a Halloween cover. You got Porky the Pig dressed as a witch and Bugs Bunny dressed as as a
Which,
witch as well.
which?
Both, yeah, both of them are witches. And it's like Halloween fun. It's called. So,
Oh
so
yeah,
the idea, yeah. So, it's just
this is
like these
pre-code. This is pre-code though. Just
no, it isn't.
is it
It's in
56?
56 is after the code.
Why does
So,
why doesn't it have a code bit thing on it then?
so certain companies didn't actually adopt the code because Dell primarily did comics for children. It didn't, and it had its own distribution methods. It didn't actually ever adopt the code.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so Dell no code.
Well, they can
So
get away with doing Halloween then.
yeah. But it is interesting that, well, they thought, they still I think they still kind of abided by, they didn't put any weird things on their comics too much because it's for kids anyways. But yeah, but it makes it more collectible because it is stuff that normally the code was so strict, especially in those early years. Um, so yeah, just a interesting little I thought it was a cool little cover too.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I presume because they didn't use the code, therefore it didn't apply to them, and they presumably didn't have to pay towards it because it was funded by the comic industry by the participants,
yes.
wasn't it? So Dell
Yeah.
Dell obviously didn't join in, so they didn't pay for it, and they didn't use the symbol, and presumably were not held accountable by it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think though even though they didn't have to abide by it, I think a lot of the companies still tried to follow the
Yeah.
sense of the
I mean,
code, you know.
Dell was never one of the main offenders anyway, was it? And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There are some Dell books that made it into SOTI, by the way.
well, yes, because some of them are very peculiar, the ones who made it in.
Well, not really. Well, I mean, yeah, they were kind of silly. The reason that it was always silly, it's injury to eye
Yeah, exactly.
or or something silly. And yeah. But yeah, I always thought this was I thought this was a cool Halloween comic. And people collect Halloween comics anyway. So I thought this one was cute. Believe it or not, this is an 8.0, which for kids books is quite high.
This is a file copy.
Yeah. So that's part of the reason why it is so high.
Usually
But
copies are higher than an eight, but I mean it's
yeah,
a really clean
it's
copy.
yeah, but it is a nice copy. I mean, the thing is like most anything above a 6 for a kid's book is usually pretty high grade
Yeah,
for
yeah,
this time period.
yeah. I like this one. Very nice. And only $134. I think these are a bit of a steal, really.
Yeah, that seems a little low, but we'll see. I don't know. I have no idea if this is a good price, bad price, or
I,
whatever.
I think, well, my guess is there's very few of these, so it's going to be difficult to establish a trend. But let's have a
Yeah, we'll
okay.
see.
There we go.
Oh, it's a new record.
Well, there are only two of them, Alan.
Is it the highest grade for the comic?
No, no, it isn't actually.
There's only 10 on the census.
Yeah, but it's not the highest one. There's two 9.6s.
See, that's where the file copies, like probably all the top graded ones are file copies.
There's a 9.4. There's two 9.2s. There's quite a few higher grade. Two, four, seven. There's 10 higher grade than that one.
So I heard that certain companies will keep like 10 copies as files, as file copies. So that kind of makes sense. So this is probably the lowest graded
Who's
file
graded
copy.
file copy?
But yeah, um, even how much does that 5.0 go for? I can't quite see the number. What's it saying in
5.0 went for $60 in 2018.
$60? Okay. So yeah, so this is a new record. That's always cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, but it still seems like a bit of a good value. I mean,
Yeah, I
considering, right?
agree. I think it is good value. 1956,
Early Silver Age.
early Silver Age, all that
Yeah,
sort of
very
order.
cool book and
Right.
very cheap cover. So yeah, okay.
Then we got Superman.
So this is a major one. This is the Supergirl tryout cover, comic, I
I
should say.
thought I'd seen this before.
Yeah.
I think we have talked about this one before. You have explained this one to me before. This isn't the real Supergirl.
No, so she dies at the end of this. So it's a
Oh,
tryout issue.
right. Well, if she dies at the end of it, what would have been a success then?
I don't know. Well, nobody really dies. If it was popular, then they'd be like, "Oh, okay, well, we can bring her back."
Yeah.
So, but the interesting thing about it is her costume. It
Yeah.
has the red bottoms.
Yeah.
When they actually released Supergirl, the version that they actually did go with, they went with the blue bottoms.
Yeah.
So this is, kind of the first this version of Supergirl.
Yeah. And it's
Um,
pulling the train cover, isn't it?
yeah. Actually, I was doing a live stream where we were talking about this comic, and there was actually an earlier comic where they had the same cover. It was like a Jimmy Olsen one, and I guess the artist got lazy and just used the same cover. Yeah, it's what you do. It's
Yeah.
like the exact same cover, actually.
What was Jimmy
But
Olsen
not with
replacing
not
Superman?
with Supergirl.
Yeah.
Yeah, just yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Interesting. And this is from, when's this from? 1958.
yeah, it's a little still early Silver Age.
It's a 4.5.
Yeah, this seems like a bit of a low price for me. Actually, I was thinking that it should be higher, but
Okay, let's have a look. It is. This has not been a good investment.
look,
This is
it's
on a
all over the
downward
place.
trend over the last 8 years.
Yeah, and I think that was partly because it probably got hot during the Supergirl show,
Well,
and since Supergirl hasn't really been utilized very well since.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, maybe a good
Um,
time to invest in Supergirl then, because she's coming back.
yeah, I think so. They're going to do a movie about her, right? Supergirl, something of tomorrow. Forgot is
Is
the title.
James Gunn going to do a Supergirl movie?
Yeah, there's a James Gunn movie coming out.
Okay.
And so this book is kind of interesting because it is the first prototype for Supergirl.
Yeah.
There's actually a Lois Lane book that is like not Lois Lane, but it's a Superman with Lois Lane as well, looking like Supergirl. So there was actually multiple tryouts for Supergirl.
Right.
And there was even a earlier character that didn't look like Supergirl at all. That was another one. They tried many times to introduce a female Superman kind of thing. And so It's kind of interesting. How many on the census?
There are, I bet there's not many. Yeah, only 477.
Yeah, and we know that that is a low number for the Silver Age. Typically, Silver Age is like 3 to 5,000 kind of level, but DC is usually less. But
Yeah,
um,
EDC is usually less than 1,000 for this type of thing.
mm.
So what? How much did this sell for? Oh yes, we've had yeah. I think this is a good time to buy this.
So what was the last? Okay, what was the last sales? Oh, let's
Uh,
look at the last three sales.
So 405, 282, 300.
Okay, so it went down from 485 to 300. So
40.
somebody got a bit of a steal on this one.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good price.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but the overall trend on this is kind of down.
it is.
Uh, yeah, I think 350 even would be a fair price. 350, even 400 maybe. Um, so yeah, but I don't know. It's kind of a it's kind of a strange one.
Yep.
I forgot how much I paid for my copy. I think I paid more more than
Is yours raw or slabbed?
mine's slabbed, but I paid less than that, but lower grade.
Okay.
But per point wise, I think I paid more. I think
Okay.
I paid like $100 a point. That's what I remember.
Oh, we've got a showcase. Uh,
This is an interesting one. Yeah. So you might want to read the notes on this one. So
yeah.
this is showcase um
Showcase three. Um,
13.
right.
13.
Sorry, 13.
Yeah.
Third appearance of the Silver Age Flash.
And first appearance
Appearance of
of
Mr. Element.
yeah. So it's got a first appearance and also it's the early Flash appearance as well. So kind of one of those ones like there's like several showcases that you should pick up if you're gonna pick up, if you collect the Flash or even collect showcase. This is one of them
Yeah.
because it's kind of a key.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Census date, we're about 1958 at the moment. And yeah, not a comic. I've seen that frequently.
This one seems awfully low too, by the way. Um, so 552. I always feel like this is like $1,000 book just because
Right.
it
Yeah,
is.
I'll come right down.
Yeah.
So the previous sale was 1,000. You're right. So it's come
Yeah.
half nearly.
Yeah. I always remember it being sort of expensive. Because I tried to buy it once before and it was like, oh man, it's like always so expensive. Um, so yeah. So somebody got a good price on this one. This was
Well, it's a good time to be buying Silver Age comics on Heritage. It's my view.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
definitely.
the last sale was like 900. Is that 900?
The last sales one of these got 800 crossed out, so I don't know what it was, but the one before
That's best offer.
was 1,000.
Yeah. So yeah, it just shows you how much this book has fallen. And it actually looks like it's below pre-COVID price.
Yeah, I mean, there's so few sales here, but yes, it is. I think somebody's just got a really good price on that.
Yeah. And there's not many on the census. I know this has a really low census, kind of like a couple hundred or something like that. What was it?
265.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
these
know it's a
these
hard
are the
book to
type of
find.
comics to invest in because, that is properly rare.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially, I mean, especially for the Silver Age. That's almost like, well, I guess it is early Silver Age. So it's kind of like that in between golden and silver.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's a pretty low census count. Um, yeah, just I always thought this was a cool book. It's one that I'd like to have in my collection at some point.
Now,
Now, this is another cool book.
yeah, so
Not a CGC, but it is.
no. Now this I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Alan, you've
Yeah,
told me in the past, this is the first coloured superhero
yes.
with his
To,
own title
it's
in his
in
own.
his own title. yeah, you got to put all the little
bits
extra
together.
things, but yeah. Um, so this is kind of a huge book. This one really didn't do well in terms of when it came out. Most of the time, it was returned. There was, in fact, racism back then, and people did not want a black superhero or black hero. He's not a superhero, but he is a hero. He's a westerns. Um, yeah, this one didn't do well, and as a result, is a fairly scarce book.
Well, yeah, yeah, I mean,
Um,
really scarce.
yeah, but
I mean, I quite like the cover. It's quite simple.
yeah, it's got that Western kind of feel to it. It's
Got
actually
a
well done. I like the shadowing.
dead or alive poster up there. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, it's quite cool. I would have bought this back in the day. Um,
It's down a bit from the last sale. It's fairly flat, to be honest. Well, yeah, it's the same price now as it was in 2017.
yeah. So and what was that peak sale?
Peak sale was 700. Nope, no, sorry,
700.
983.
Wow. So it's down about 20-30%.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's interesting because what I've seen a lot recently is a lot of these black hero characters or black hero comics have been doing really well lately. There seems to be like sort of a bit of a fad going on for them. So I would have thought this would have done better. But it's one of those ones where you can pick this up fairly cheaply. And the thing is, it's not slabbed. So you got to kind of account for that within the
No, yes,
price.
that's true, actually. This is not slab. So you mean you got to add
So,
$50. So you got to, yeah. So in
so
reality,
you,
so you're selling a raw for this price. So actually, it's probably not as bad in terms of the
yeah,
quality.
I would actually add a couple $100 to the price just because it is not slabbed. And the reason for that is just that uncertainty about the grade.
Mhm. Yeah.
And generally, I find Heritage overgrades their comics. Like, sorry, Heritage, but I feel like you overgrade your comics. Um, and yeah, so I think that could play a role in here. But what's the census count? It's not that high. It's
Look,
like 500 or something like that. Something like that.
two, 243.
Wow, so even lower than I thought. So I thought it had more copies, but
Yeah.
yeah. And
No,
actually, issue number two is even more rare.
I bet it is. Yes.
There's only two issues and only ran two issues. Um, so yeah, if we take a look, um,
Yeah, they're only 78 of issue two.
yeah, it's quite hard to get the set. Um,
Well, I'm not sure if two counts as a set. Um,
well, it's a set of two. It's a set. Get the two of them. You get the full run.
you get the full run.
Really, it's a piece of history. I think these are like undervalued comics, in my opinion. Like just a really like I'm a big fan of history, so I mean, to me, these are like really cool. I think these are really awesome books.
Yeah, they are the great. These are type of comics that I keep hoping I'm going to find in an auction sale of mixed comics because if you don't know what it is, it just looks like a cheap
Some random,
and cheap
yeah.
90s comic.
Mhm.
Maybe it's worth a fiver. Um, but
But I mean, this came out like like a year or two before Black Panther,
yeah,
so it's a really cool book. I mean, just yeah, but yeah, I mean, and it's fairly. I mean, if you think about it, that's really rare. It's low census count.
78. Yeah, that's very low.
Mm. So I have both in my collection, but
Oh,
yeah, it was not easy to get. I can tell you that.
are yours raw or slabbed?
Both are raw, actually.
Okay,
Uh,
good. Okay, moving on. That was an interesting one. Here we go. Oh, we got an amazing.
One arachnid. I had to have one arachnid just
We've
because
got
I know you'd be sad.
Hitman, and it's number. It's not one we see very often. It's number 14. Uh,
Uh,
and
this
it's
is one of my favorite
low grade.
uh favorites like Spider-Man Rogue Gallery characters. Like Green Goblin is just, he's been in multiple movies with Spider-Man. Just kind of one of the cooler Spider-Man villains. Um and this is a 2.5.
Yeah,
So nice entry level copy.
yeah. Um, let's have a look. How did this do? How much did this sell for, Alan? It sold for $1,000, and 50. Do we think that's a con? Well,
I
I'm
think
going to
that's how much I paid for my
work out
copy.
and say this is going to be on the usual Spidey trend.
Yeah, it's gonna have a
There you
spike and then
go.
it's going but if you look at it, it's actually like if you ignore those kind of crazy COVID-y spiky parts, this is still well above the trend line, overall trend line.
I think you're having a good go at egging it up, Alan. That is the lowest price it has sold at. There's one more sale there.
It's still above the trend line overall. Look,
You
if you
think
look at the trend line.
here's
So look at that
here's,
pre-COVID price.
here's pre-COVID. Pre-COVID about 900.
Yeah,
Well, this is 1,000. So
a little bit above. Yeah, just above.
just above pre-COVID. But
I think it'll
don't
actually
like the
stay at the,
trend line. I don't look like the trend line though, Alan, because
no, I don't like it either, but
it's not stabilized. We have seen
I
comics where, we have three or four sales at the same level. This is still coming down each sale.
I think this is a good price though. Believe it or not. Like I think it's kind of at the floor, even though it looks like it could go lower. I think this is kind of you might get one or two sales that go below 1,000, but I have a feeling it will kind of stick here and bounce up from this point. This is
Okay.
my feeling. We can test this. We can test this intuition a year from now, but I think this is like kind of the floor for this book.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Mm.
How many of these
So,
are there? There's loads of them, Alan.
oh, there's loads of them. So we were looking at books that had really low census
Yeah,
counts.
we're
Now
looking
we're
at
looking at
books
a
that had
typical Marvel.
78 and 250 the last few.
Yeah, like
Uh,
this is a typical Marvel book, like 5,000 on the census kind of level. Um, but it is a major key, and there's a lot of people, a lot of demand for this book.
yeah, I'm not going to be going out and buying one, I don't think.
Yeah, I think this is a good price. So just like we'll see. Like this book will somehow reappear on the list like a year from now, and we'll see if
Good
I was
point.
right. Yeah, we'll
Right.
see if I'm right. Okay, but I think this is kind of a floor price.
Okay, well, we'll see. I'm a bit dubious about that. The trends don't look appear to have stopped to me. Uh,
Hmm. And that's it for this video. Um, the second part has some actually couple cool books that aren't necessarily the more obscure ones, but that are really important books because there's a whole bunch of speculation around them. I put those on Mark's list, and I think they will be interesting ones for us to see. And they're kind of like books that I always consider a set. Like you have to buy them, like almost buy them together, if you can afford that. They're not cheap books, but that I put on Mark's list. So you got to go over to Mark's channel to check out the last top 5 of this week because they're pretty cool books. So thanks again, Mark.
and Alan, I got a message from DHL saying, "Oh, you got a parcel coming from Heritage." I thought I haven't got anything from Heritage. Anyway, don't send stuff to my UK address. I always send it to my Snackery address. Anyway, it arrived
Okay.
yesterday, and they've sent me a great big thick auction manual for
Oh,
their signature series auction in late June. It's
oh, okay.
really high grade, sort of great big thick with fantastic photos. I mean, it's a collector's item in itself.
Yeah, those catalogs are pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah, very impressive. So
The weird thing is they have my name twice in their thing, so I get two copies of everything. I don't know why. It's like
you've got two
I
copies of
get,
it.
I'll get. Oh, I haven't gotten it yet, but I'll probably get two
You will
copies of
get
it.
two copies. So obviously we need to cover that when they do it because that'll be quite interesting.
Yeah, that would be a cool one. The signature auctions are always interesting because it's like crazy. It's just like crazy
The
books, you know.
prices will be completely crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It's just fun to see them though. You know, I always hope, you know, there'll be an auction where you see that next biggest sale. You know what I mean? Like where it's just like $10 million, like some like just some crazy price.
Yeah, I don't think we haven't hit 10 million yet, have we? I think we've hit eight.
Yeah, yeah. The highest is 8,
Yeah.
but yeah, it'll be fun to see some big one. So cool. So yeah, we'll do that when it comes out.
Okay. Cheers on.
Okay, bye.